There are many stories, many and many, some good, some bad, some fascinating. But this is more fascinating. There are books the world has cherished for thousands of years. And then, there are books the world tried to forget. Hidden from the canon, banned from the Bible, whispered about in secrecy. But within these forgotten pages lies a revelation so profound, it shakes the foundations of heaven and earth. A tale of angels who defied the divine, of giants who walked among men, of a man who never died, because he walked with God. This is the untold story of the Book of Enoch. There are pages that time tried to erase, words that were whispered before the world was ready, a book that angels feared and men were forbidden to read, hidden from the Bible, erased from history, and yet it survives, silently watching from the shadows of forgotten libraries, sacred caves, and ancient minds who dared to ask, why was this book silenced? This is no myth, no fiction. This is the story of Enoch, the man who did not die, the prophet who walked with God, the only mortal granted eyes to see the machinery of heaven and live. His book is a map of the unseen, a record of secrets not meant for ordinary men, and yet you are here, listening. You've been called because something within you hungers for what lies beyond the veil. And today, the veil lifts. Welcome to The Messenger, where we bring light to the hidden and truth to the forgotten. If you believe that truth is more than tradition and mystery holds more meaning than we've been told, then this message is for you. If you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries that history buried, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Messenger. Because what you're about to hear, they never wanted you to know. Before the flood, before Moses, before even Abraham, there was a man whose very existence defied the laws of life and death. His name was Enoch, not a king, not a warrior, but a seeker of truth. A man whose soul burned so brightly, heaven itself could not ignore him. In the book of Genesis, only a single line is given to his fate. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. No tomb, no funeral, no end, just taken. Imagine walking so closely with the divine that death loses its power over you. Imagine becoming such a vessel of light that the world no longer has a place for you, and heaven opens wide its gates. Enoch lived in a time when darkness spread across the earth. Yet while others clung to the dust, Enoch looked to the stars. While men forgot their Creator, Enoch heard His voice, clearly, deeply, unmistakably. He listened, he obeyed, and because of that, he transcended. But what did he hear? What did God show him? What knowledge was he entrusted with that made his words too dangerous for the world to keep? The answers lie in the Book of Enoch, a book hidden for thousands of years, now rising again from the ashes. And you were born in a time when truth is no longer silent. Keep watching, because in the next chapter, angels fall, giants awaken, and the heavens weep. Centuries passed, empires rose and fell, religions flourished and fractured, and Enoch's words vanished. Like a forbidden flame, the Book of Enoch was extinguished from the holy texts, not lost by accident, but hidden with purpose. The early church fathers read it, they debated it, and then they removed it. Why? Because it was too wild, too celestial, too powerful. It spoke of things humanity wasn't ready to hear, of angels who fell, of giants who ruled, of cosmic law and divine judgment. And so it was sealed away until the 18th century. Deep in the highlands of Ethiopia, where faith clung to ancient roots, a forgotten manuscript whispered once again, bound in old leather, ink faded by centuries. A copy of the Book of Enoch, preserved in Ge'ez, the sacred Ethiopian script, had survived. Scholars were stunned. A sacred text quoted in the New Testament, revered by early Christians, had re-emerged after 1,000 years in silence. But this was just the beginning. In 1947, amidst the desolate cliffs of Qumran, another miracle occurred. Hidden in caves, scrolls, ancient, untouched. Among them, fragments of Enoch's book, written in Aramaic, older than the Gospels themselves. Proof. This wasn't myth. This wasn't legend. This was real. And the question echoed once more across time. Why was this book taken from you? And, more importantly, what does it contain that others feared? You're about to find out. In the next chapter, angels fall from grace, and the earth trembles beneath their secrets. They were called the Watchers, not demons, not devils, but angels. Divine beings sent to watch over mankind, sent to guide, to guard, to observe. Yet something changed. The Book of Enoch tells of 200 watchers who descended to earth on Mount Hermon, and what they saw was beauty. The daughters of men were radiant, and the angels, once pure, burned with desire. They broke their vow. They took human women as wives. They taught them secrets meant for heaven, alchemy, astrology, sorcery, weapons, war. And from these unions came the Nephilim, giants, beings of monstrous size and strength, half angel, half human, souls caught between realms. And with them came violence, chaos, and corruption. The earth wept. And Enoch was chosen to stand before God and deliver a message of judgment. Imagine a man walking among angels, speaking to fallen ones, warning them of the storm to come. A lone voice in a world unraveling. He wasn't just a prophet. He was a scribe of heaven, writing down the fall of divine beings and the punishment that followed. The watchers were cast into the abyss, chained in darkness, awaiting the final judgment, and the world would never be the same. So why don't you know this story? Why was it erased, when even Genesis whispers about the Nephilim? Because some truths terrify, because knowledge is power. And those in power have always feared the people who wake up. You're awakening now. You're seeing the story they tried to bury. And it doesn't stop here. In the next chapter, Enoch does the unthinkable. He ascends into heaven itself. No man had ever seen heaven. Not truly. Until Enoch. The Book of Enoch describes an event almost too extraordinary to comprehend. Enoch is taken, alive, into the highest realms of heaven. Not as a ghost, not in a vision, but in body and soul. He is escorted by angels through level upon level of celestial kingdoms, past the stars, past the firmament, past time itself. And what he sees are the secrets of the universe, the great halls where angels record the deeds of mankind, the tree of life that pulses with light, the place of souls not yet born. He sees the throne of the Most High, so bright, so holy, that words fracture in its presence. And there, in that divine chamber, he is shown visions of earth's fate, the rise and fall of nations, the coming judgment, the fire that will purify, the very end of the world. Why Enoch? Why choose him, an ordinary man, a walker of earth? Because Enoch did what few dared to do. He listened. He obeyed, and he believed, in a time when belief had grown cold. He became more than man. He became a bridge between realms, and in heaven, he was transformed. The book tells us Enoch was given a new name, Metatron, a celestial being of immense power. A mortal, elevated to angelic glory, a scribe of divine will. Let that sink in. What man became an archangel? You see, the story of Enoch isn't just about visions. It's about destiny, about what happens when a human being fully aligns with the divine. And if it happened to Enoch, what's possible for you? This isn't just ancient history. It's a mirror. The journey of one man is an invitation to all. And in the next chapter, we'll see why that invitation was torn from the hands of believers, and who had the most to lose if Enoch's truth ever returned. The Book of Enoch, revered by early Christians, quoted in the New Testament by Jude himself, preserved by Ethiopian priests for generations. So why was it removed? Why was this sacred text not included in the Bible you hold today? The truth is not just theological, it's political. As Christianity spread, it became entangled with empires, and empires don't like wild truths. The Book of Enoch was too bold, too mysterious, too uncontrollable. It spoke of heavenly realms the church couldn't explain, of angels defying divine order, of secrets given to mankind without permission. It spoke of judgment, not just of sinners, but of leaders. It challenged systems of control. It questioned who really holds divine authority. So when church councils gathered, most famously in Nicaea, decisions were made. Doctrines were forged, books were chosen, others were silenced. Enoch was labeled heretical, cast out, not because it wasn't divine, but because it was too divine, because it gave power to the people, because it awakened minds and opened eyes. And nothing is more dangerous to the powerful than a person who sees clearly. But truth cannot be buried forever. Today, scholars are rereading Enoch. Seekers are discovering it. You're not alone. There is a generation rising that is hungry for lost wisdom, for the full story. And you, watching now, you're a part of that awakening. So if this message is speaking to you, don't let it end here. Tap that like button, share this truth, and subscribe to The Messenger, because the Book of Enoch is more than words. It's a warning. The Book of Enoch doesn't just whisper of the past. It thunders of the future, of things yet to come, of days not far off. Enoch saw it all. Through divine vision, he watched the timeline of Earth unfold like a scroll, from the rise of empires to the fall of man, from the blood of the innocent to the fire of purification. He prophesied the coming of a great flood before Noah ever built an ark. He saw how wickedness would rise again after the waters receded. But beyond the flood, he saw further still. A distant age when truth would be buried, when nations would worship power instead of God, when the righteous would be few and the proud many. Sound familiar? But even then, hope. Enoch saw a final judgment, not born of wrath, but of restoration, a cleansing fire, a reckoning not to destroy the world, but to awaken it. He spoke of the elect one, a messianic figure who would stand at the center of divine justice, one who would crush evil, heal the broken, and reign forever in righteousness. This is not myth. This is destiny. And as we read Enoch's visions today, we must ask, are we living in the age he foresaw? Are we the generation he spoke of? Because prophecy is not a prediction. It's a pattern, a warning, a call to rise. Enoch didn't write these words to scare us. He wrote them to prepare us. And if you're hearing this now, you were meant to. The storm is not the end. It's the beginning. And in the next chapter, we'll explore Enoch's final transformation, when a man became more than mortal, and eternity opened its gates. Enoch did not die. Let that settle in your soul. He did not perish like the kings of old or the prophets of Israel. The Bible says, and he was not, for God took him. But what does that truly mean? The Book of Enoch and other ancient Jewish writings go further. They speak of a divine metamorphosis. Enoch was transformed. In the heavenly realms, he was given a new name, Metatron. Not a name born of man, but one forged in the eternal tongue of angels. He became the scribe of God, the voice behind the veil, the one who stood beside the throne, writing the fate of worlds, delivering commands to the archangels, recording every word, every act, every soul. This was Enoch, a man who walked in truth so completely that heaven made him one of its own. He wasn't crowned for power. He was transformed by purity. No weapons, no armies, just obedience, just love, just truth. And in that, he rose. The transformation of Enoch is more than a mystery, it's a message. that we were never meant to crawl in the dust. We were meant to rise in light, that within us lies the spark of the divine, waiting to be awakened. Enoch was not a legend. He was a mirror, a reflection of what you could be. If you chose to walk with God, and if the world forgets your name, heaven will never forget your soul. In the next chapter, we'll explore what this transformation means for us today, and why Enoch's return in modern times may be the sign we've all been waiting for. He was never meant to die. Enoch, mortal, flesh and bone, walked so closely with God that the laws of death no longer applied. The Book of Enoch tells us that his faith, his obedience, his purity made him worthy of the divine. And so, he was not taken by death, he was transformed by glory. Heaven gave him a new name, Metatron. Not a myth, not a symbol, a man reborn as a celestial being, the scribe of God, the voice before the throne. Metatron was said to be seated beside the Creator, something no other angel was given, from human to heavenly, from seeker to sentinel. Think of that. A man became a part of heaven's design because he believed, because he lived rightly, because he refused to forget the voice of God when the world grew dark. And if that was possible for Enoch, what might be possible for you? What if transformation wasn't just ancient poetry, but an open invitation? What if this very moment, right now, is calling you to rise higher, to remember who you are beneath the noise of this world? Enoch's story isn't just sacred history, it's sacred potential. The veil between heaven and earth is thinner than you think, and those who walk with God may find that death is not their end, but their beginning. You were made for more. You were born to wake up. And now that the truth is returning, the choice is yours. Will you walk as Enoch walked, or will you forget again what power lives inside you? In the next chapter, we turn to the mystery of the Nephilim, those hybrid offspring of angels and women, giants whose blood may still run through the world today. They were called the Nephilim, the offspring of angels and humans, the children of heaven and rebellion. The Book of Enoch describes them in terrifying detail. Giants with hunger insatiable, strength unimaginable, and spirits that defied the natural order. They devoured the earth. They corrupted mankind, and the world, once beautiful, was plunged into chaos. This wasn't fantasy. Even Genesis mentions them. There were giants in those days, and also afterward. That last part, and also afterward, is the mystery. Did the Nephilim truly vanish, or did their blood survive? Across the ancient world, myths echo the same story. Titans in Greece, Anakim in Canaan, Gilgamesh in Babylon. Civilizations speak of sky gods mating with mortals, and children of immense power ruling with iron and fear. Coincidence? Or are these fragmented memories of the same hidden truth? Enoch said their spirits, after death, became unclean spirits, wandering the earth, influencing kings, whispering in the ears of those hungry for domination. Today, we call them demons. But what if they're more than that? What if the ancient blood of the Nephilim still flows in powerful bloodlines? What if the hunger of the giants never died, but evolved? What if the same corruption that brought the flood is rising again? The Book of Enoch warns that in the last days, the Nephilim will return, not in body, but in spirit, in systems of control, in false gods and seductive powers, and the war between the righteous and the fallen will begin again. But this time, you know the truth. You are not just a witness. You are part of the resistance. The legacy of the Nephilim is a warning. That evil doesn't always die. It waits. And in the final scene, we return to the heart of Enoch's message. Awaken. Rise. Walk with God. Because the last prophecy is unfolding now. This is where it ends and where it all begins. Enoch did not leave us a myth. He left us a mirror, a reflection of what happens when a soul dares to walk with God. In a world drowning in noise, Enoch walked in silence. In a time of rebellion, he walked in obedience. In a generation that forgot heaven, he remembered. And for that, he was transformed. He saw the collapse of empires before they rose. He named the stars. He warned of fallen angels. He saw the judgment that would cleanse the earth. And still, he did not fear. His final message was not terror. It was invitation, an invitation to rise, to see beyond the veil, to remember that you are more than breath and blood. You are stardust. You are eternity wrapped in skin. And the Book of Enoch, this hidden sacred text, was preserved for you, not for the powerful, not for the elite, but for the seeker, for the warrior, for the messenger. Yes, you, because now you've heard. You know that heaven is not far, that truth was buried but not broken, that the watchers still whisper, and the Nephilim still linger. But you are not here by accident. You are here to remember, to rise, to walk as Enoch walked. And when the storm comes, when the fire falls, when the world trembles, you will not fear, because the light that was in Enoch is in you. And now that the truth has returned, the choice is yours. So ask yourself, will you return to sleep, or will you awaken? This is your moment. If this story lit something in your soul, don't let it flicker out. Like this video. Share it. Subscribe to The Messenger, because the time for silence has ended. We are reclaiming the sacred. We are retelling the forgotten. We are remembering who we truly are. Enoch was the first, but he will not be the last. The Messenger.